Welcome, 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 collectives. My name is Ora-gen, and this is the Ora-gen Channel. I want to welcome you back for another reading this most excellent Friday, May 9th of 2025. Guys, I can't even believe we're in May. I feel like we were just in April 2 seconds ago, like the start of it. And now here we are in May. So it is 56 degrees, blue skies, clear and sunny here in Michigan. Really enjoying the sunshine this morning. Took my coffee out onto the deck and just kind of soaked up some rays and came back inside and just got to work. But I wanted to take a little pause at the start of my workday and share a message with you from a download that came in just last night or early this morning. Quick shout out here of gratitude to the subscribers new and the subscribers that have been with me for some time. I truly appreciate all of you, and I'm so grateful that you're here. Definitely big shout out to visitors of the channel. This is your first time here at the Ora-gen Channel. You are most welcome, and I'm super grateful that you are here. Please do like, share, subscribe, and hit the all button so that you do not miss notifications for upcoming readings. Definitely, some of the downloads get kind of wild. So even if it's not your message, you're definitely going to be in for a good story. Even if it's not your story. But you're definitely more likely to hear readings associated with energies that you're dealing with when you connect with the channel. It's kind of like an energetic nod that you would like to be a part of the collectives, and here's some readings associated with energies that you are dealing with. So guys, let's go on ahead and move into today's energy. The energies this week today. Well, this week and today, but the energies currently are just really active, whatever those are. I notice here in Michigan, like on the road, even if no one's on the road, like people kind of feel a need to like drive fast or to pull up behind your vehicle, even if no one's on the road, to follow closely behind you, almost as if they're trying to hurry you up to drive faster. But literally they could just get over to the left and drive faster. It's kind of wild. Something in the energy about energies really wanting you to do things in the way that they view is the correct way, which is so interesting because even when we speak about interpersonal relationships at this time, some of you may be noticing that certain energies are just kind of slipping out of your timeline. They might physically be present, but there's things that they're doing that lets you know that they're just really not understanding, connecting with, or seeing you in the ways that you want to be seen by these individuals. And by individuals, I mean people that you've known for many years, that you're close to. Some of you are in relationships with these energies. But there's a lot here about just the timeline where we're at and how things are getting to a place where energies that don't want to do the work of awakening or opening up to some new ways of looking at things, it's becoming very obvious that that is their standpoint. Whether it's because of fear, apathy, just being preoccupied by, matrixy type things. And so they're not able to see what's happening in this timeline. It doesn't matter what the reason is. You might be noticing, though, that energy is more prevalent with those individuals, with those people. So the download. This reading is about endings and beginnings. That's what I titled this one. And in the download, I'm just going to read to you, just the way I wrote down the details this morning as I was kind of coming to. I saw some individuals or energies, masculine and feminine, families, groups, organizations, different types of individuals associated with different types of groups, basically. Some of them were accepting that something was ending, and so they were standing together in unity. Some were panicked. Some were emotionally out of control. Some took measures into their own hands, if you know what I mean. Families, groups, covens, upside down organizations that have seen results for a very long time are now understanding that something has changed. Something that is leading everyone to a major shift. They can clearly see that they don't have a role in this next phase of the timeline and are preparing themselves as best as they can. Those who are awakening to where we are in this timeline are also preparing, and I'm speaking about the collectives. Those who are asleep will find this transition to be very rocky and uncomfortable without understanding why. And you know, guys, I put a note here to speak about imagery or dreams that I've been seeing on repeat since my childhood. I remember having imagery or dreams coming in specifically about the state of the sky, like the sky having rolling flames, the entire sky engulfed in fire with rolling flames, almost like the canopy over everyone's head was made of pure fire, and people moving quickly to go find shelter or to be out of the way. I also had repeat imagery since childhood of like a grid that exists in the sky just beneath the canopy or just beneath the firmament, like some sort of grid that exists that has something to do with connection or the energetic state here on the planet. It didn't look like something good. It had a feeling like an ominous feeling to it. But those are imagery and dreams that I've been having since childhood. The shift that we're seeing now in our timeline is something that we were always headed towards. It was going to happen. But some of these energies that have been involved in benefiting from the crooked and upside down energies associated with control, manipulation of the populace are now beginning to actually believe that, wow, it might actually be getting ready to change. Something actually might be getting ready to be different. Now, for those of you who are thinking from maybe a more of a current energy or political mindset, I could see how a thought like this would be hard to swallow, right? Because based on what we're seeing in our world, it looks like things are getting worse, not better. And it is true that as change and shift comes in, it does get worse. It does feel worse. Why? Because certain things have to come to the surface that's very ugly for us to address in order to be aware of why something needs to change or to understand all of the factors associated with why something was happening the way that it was. We might look at a situation like some of these families, groups, covens, upside down organizations, and in some cases, I'm speaking about churches, okay? No groups, no organizations are left out of that. Any organization that did not work to the welfare of others, that's what I'm speaking about. Any organizations that were focused on their own primary benefit and not the benefit of others, literally sacrificing or throwing that under the bus, Those are the kinds of groups that I'm talking about. I don't care what the title is. We may not even know what we don't know as to like how to make those changes and shifts in our timeline unless everything is brought to the surface. It may appear that something is happening due to a certain issue, problem, reason, way of looking at things. But once you dig up the roots of the situation, you may begin to understand more information as to why this keeps happening. Because you don't have the full picture. I have to remind myself about that all the time. My viewpoint is very limited to my perspective and the knowledge that I do have, which in the grand scheme of things is very little. And that might even be giving myself much. This isn't about me humbling or minimizing myself. It's me telling the truth. There's so much that we don't understand. It's hard to even know how to fix an issue. And this is how issues feel overwhelming. This is how issues feel like they're insurmountable. How can we ever make this through this? How can we ever, make it through this as a human family or a family of beings who are on Gaia at this time? Okay, because this affects not just those who are of human lineage, this affects other as well, whatever that might be. If you don't know what I'm talking about, do some research. But for those of you who understand about starseed origins, other beings, you get what I'm saying. So the point of all this is that a lot of these types of energies thought that the good time, draining of the populace's energy, destiny swapping energy, cloning other people's energy in the astral and, bringing it into a physical form. So basically taking ideas, concepts, and things from others who are naturally gifted and then giving that energy or those ideas and concepts to beings that are more likely to be obedient to the way that they want to see things done. And pretending like that's the original, when truly the original was the person that the energy was taken from. But that person is never acknowledged. As a matter of fact, they're left in a state of chaos to continue to contend with energies associated with the matrix, while these other energies siphon energy and ideas from that person and use them as if they're their own and state that it's their creativity. Even having the audacity to state that collectives is the imposter or the clone, when really they're the originator of the energy. How about that? These families, groups, covens, upside down organizations that have been involved with energies like this are coming to an end. And the reason I say that is because of the download I received. Take the energy as it resonates. This might be a new thought for you, but just follow me for a moment and see how you feel about this thought. I did do a pre-pull, a shuffle and pre-pull on a couple of the decks. I went to the Clarifying Life Situations deck, and the energy that came out, guys, really supported what I was speaking about today with the download. I think most of you here, though, can see that there's a shift or change coming. Do we know exactly what that looks like or exactly how that is going to play out? Absolutely not. I don't think anybody knows exactly how that's going to go, but we can definitely see that. Guys, I had the Apothecary card in the reverse. This talks about somebody who uses potions, herbs, elixirs, or alchemy, but in a low vibrational way. So you actually had some energies here associated with these families, groups, organizations, covens that were doing really criminal and low vibrational things with, I don't know, maybe people's food, water, things they were consuming, maybe utilizing elements that are natural elements in a low vibrational way, or alchemically, or in some way changing the components or putting them together where it would make people sick. Okay, you can take that as it resonates. I can't get too specific because I don't want to get the video flagged, but basically, I am stating that there are energies here involved with these groups that are going to be brought to an end. And when I say brought to an end, for some of them, I mean an end. I mean no longer hanging out on planet Gaia. Not here with us any longer. Okay. There's a lot going on in the energy because a lot of these groups are, what's coming through in the download, are turning on each other. That's the energy they're in because things are going south. Things are not going well. And so a lot of them are turning on each other and attacking one another. So that might be why some people end up maybe, unalived or different things like that. But there's a lot happening in the background that they're not talking about with the public. So some of these groups are associated with, basically, for lack of a better way to put it, poisoning of the public in some form, whether that's through food, water, different things like that. Once again, this is for entertainment purposes only. So take what resonates, and whatever does not resonate, leave on the table. We have the Samurai card, which speaks about honor, loyalty, katana, and warrior. Okay? So the katana sword was something that was bestowed upon a samurai, of great valor. Like it had something to do with their integrity and valor and the way that they used that. That's in reverse. These energies were not honorable. They were not loyal. They were not warriors for the populace. They were just the opposite. And they still are. They thought that this was going to go on forever, and they are shocked. Even though they're preparing for that swift change that is coming in the timeline, they were not really thinking this was going to happen because this has been going on for so long. But these energies are not loyal. They're not honorable. The next card that Spirit pulled to the top of the deck was the Mermaid card. This was in reverse. Everything's in reverse here, guys. Every last card. I can't make it up. This one talks about oceanic, serenade, tale, and allure. Something here about the way that these energies have been able to present themselves for centuries, and what we're actually seeing. So the allure, the illusion has fallen. And people are able to see something's not right. They're starting to become aware of the fact that something is not right with some of these energies that have been in long held positions of trust for a very long time. So then for the second row, I pulled some energy. I'm sorry, the top row was the role oracle, okay? Apologies about that. The top row was the role. So that's the role of the energies we're talking about today that are basically going to be taken down, okay? They're not going to be able to continue to affect the populace in the same way that they were. Then the second row of cards, I asked Spirit to clarify more about the role of these energies, and that is from clarifying life situations. So the first card to clarify apothecary in reverse, remember we're talking about energies that were poisoning air, water, food. Maybe some individuals literally were trying to put things in people's food or literally make them sick, utilizing, biological type weaponry. I don't know. But the first card that came off on top of that one was fulfill promise. So somebody was very committed to this path they were on, almost like a job or something that they felt that somebody must step into this position. That's the energy I'm getting when I look at the description with this card. This says, stay committed to your path, for each step forward brings you closer to your destined fulfillment. So somebody felt like this was their destiny, their job, like their responsibility to engage in this behavior. So somebody was very dedicated to doing things that affected others' health and wellness by utilizing apothecary in reverse. And some of this can include just flat out spell work, guys. All these things I'm talking about is a form of low vibrational energy work. Okay, so definitely we're not even, focusing in on that. That's a given. But when you're doing things to just make the general populace sick, ill, whatever, that's definitely a form of low vibrational witchcraft, spell work, low vibrational energy work. So that's what I'm picking up here from the Fulfill Promise. Then we had the Samurai card in reverse. This talked about the energies not being honorable, not being loyal. And the card that came out there was the Connections Guide. This one talks about harnessing the power of networks, cultivating meaningful relationships, and strategizing a path to success. So looks like these energies, as I mentioned before, were not even honorable, loyal to their connections, to the energies that they were working with. These are the networks that they were working in, the relationships that they were dealing with. These energies were not honorable or loyal to these types of relationships and connections. But it looks like they're trying to strategize some way to get out of this or to move forward. But they're not going to be able to, because this whole web of connections is collapsing. That's the problem. The foundation is not going to be stable any longer. There will be nothing to build on, which then led me to the next card in reverse, which was the Desert of Isolation. I can't make it up. This was the card that fell on top of the Mermaid card. The illusion has fallen. A lot of these energies, what I'm seeing from the reading here, a lot of these energies that were working together and had a certain allure that would draw people to it or make people feel like an energy of trust with these types of groups, communities, organizations, covens, has collapsed. We talked about that foundation collapsing. Well, the veil has collapsed as well. People are looking at it head on and going, ugh, that's weird. That's gross. I never noticed that before. In a lot of cases, we have TikTok and different YouTube, different avenues of social media that has videos of people sharing things that are just like right in front of the populace. You don't even have to like dig very far to get down a rabbit hole. You can just type in a topic and see information. And this doesn't mean all of the information is correct. Definitely do your vetting, but you can see clearly that there's some problems here. If nothing else, you can see that. Spirit is saying that these energies here are in a space where they're actually reflecting on their situation that they are presently in. Remember, I told you as I was reading the download, there are some families, groups, organizations that have settled with the fact that it's over and they're preparing for the end. And I'm not going to soften the blow of those words. I'm not. They're preparing for the end. They don't like it. And they're definitely in a state of reflection now that they know that it's over. They didn't believe it before, but now they see it. And I could actually see some of those energies in the download. It was wild. It was like a coming to a state of like, almost like they were in a resolute state of Okay, I understand. It's done now. That was the energy I was seeing with some of these groups. But definitely some of these energies that worked with groups are isolated. That's also true. And I'm seeing that by the way the cards have come out. They're no longer working with this web of connections, and they're kind of off to their own, or they've been put outside the group and they're trying to figure out what to do next. So there's a lot of reflection and a lot of isolation and desolate spaces. They're in a space of solitude, trying to figure out what to do next. And that's because the illusion, the veil, has fallen on a lot of these groups. So I'm going to take a few cards here from the Pink Tarot. I'm not going to make this a long reading. I just wanted to jump on here and share this with you. I hope this is clear. I hope this makes sense. I hope this helps someone today, because there might be others who are having downloads on this topic. And also, there might be others who have been having strong emotional response or strong energetic response due to what is presently happening in our timeline. 2 cards, oh, more than 2 cards coming out. That's kind of too many cards, but let me just take a look and see. Oh, wow. Oh, wow, guys. Looks like Spirit gave us a story here. We have 5 cards that kind of came out together. We have the Strength card in the upright. You're being encouraged today to maintain an energy of strength, or to really reach into that space inside of yourself where strength resides. In the Strength card, we can see a feminine energy that is strong enough and has enough courage to tame a lion, but at the same time is gentle enough that the expression on her face is soft and calm, and the lion is yielding to this energy. Confirmation, we're talking about a subtle power, okay? So we're talking about courage, we're talking about passion and inner strength. You're being encouraged to tap into that at this time if you are having a strong energetic or emotional response to what is happening on the world scene and in our timeline. These things have to occur for us to shake things up, as it were, so we can have what's happening here really rise to the top. We can get a good look at it and see what needs to change. Also, please remember, your guides, my guides, other collective members' guides are all part of this process. We have starseed helpers, guides. We're not alone here. We're getting help and support in relation to this topic, okay? So please do remember that. We have the Hierophant in reverse. Yeah, normally when I see the Hierophant in reverse, and definitely we have Earth sign and Taurus on the table, fire sign in Leo, take the energy as it resonates. A lot of times I think about a situation with an energy, but I think in relation to today's reading, we're talking about the energy of the unexpected. You're being encouraged to be strong, or to find your inner strength when it comes to dealing with your personal beliefs in association with the energy of the unexpected. No one knows exactly how this is going to go. And so it will require those of us who are here in more of a helper type energy. Maybe we're collective members and we have like a spirit of calm that tends to resonate within us and around us. This will be helpful to others who are more frantic in their energy because they don't understand what's happening, or because they're not awakening yet, and that they're being like jarred awake and they're kind of freaking out. Just you being present in the energy, even if you don't say anything, is a help to others. And you're being encouraged to remember that and really tap into that inner strength. Guys, we have the 8 of Pentacles on the table in the upright. Earth and Virgo energy. Something here about manifestation of practicality, skill, absolute decisions, and definitely something here about diligence and high standards. Your mastery, your skill, who you are on that innermost level of yourself is what will help guide you through this time period here, which feels like complete uncertainty potentially for some of you. Maybe not so much for others, but for some, it's like feeling like in the dark, like where's the next step? I don't even see a step to take. You're being encouraged to really tap into that once again, that inner strength, that subtle power within yourself. This has to do with your gifts, your skill sets that you came here with, really tapping into those. And especially as it relates to who you are as a light worker, who you are as a star seed, your soul path and your soul mission here. That's what you've really been focusing on. That's what I'm picking up here. And that's a skill set that's going to help not just yourself, but the energies around you at this time. Due to where we are in the timeline, those skills are most needed. This is just confirmation of this again. Guys, we have the Ten of Pentacles in the upright. More earth sign energy on the table. Somebody's definitely a Taurus or a Virgo here who's listening to this message today. And if you are, I'm super grateful that you're hearing this message. If you are not and the energy resonates, no worries. But I'm definitely picking up on some strong earth sign energy. A lot here with Pentacles. I feel like this also refers to something that I talk about when I talk about the shift of things. These energies that were holding all of the resources, that's not going to stay the same. They know that a lot of that ill-gotten gain that they were able to hold for centuries off of the backs of the populace is going to be returned to the populace in some form. And I'm not just talking about money or like wealth distribution. I'm talking about abundance. Everyone's ability and right to have the basics, to not have to scramble and worry about just basic needs. I'm also talking about abundance as it is associated with gifts, spiritual gifts that rightfully belong to the collectives that have been siphoned off of for centuries for the purposes of sustaining matrix-like systems to keep people in a jail-like or prison-like state, to be utilized as fuel while a small number of energies take that and utilize it for whatever they want to utilize it for, to keep control, to keep power, to have all the resources, all the abundance. That is something that is shifting as well, because the populace is starting to see as a whole what has been going on there with that. So when I look at the pentacles, I'm also looking at a shift of those energies, from just being in the hands of the wealthy and those who are in positions of power to now being more evenly dispersed amongst the populace that have incarnated at this time. This one talks about wealth, financial security, and long-term success, really. So this is something that is going to be coming in. And this is also why these energies are having a really hard time with this transition, because they definitely don't want to give up the reins of control and power. We can see that. And then Spirit says this is true. This is the Ace of Pentacles here on the table. In relation to the reading, these energies, basically by handling things the way that they have with the populace, have removed opportunities from others that were rightfully theirs, like a gatekeeper energy. This one talks about, in reverse, lost opportunity, missed chances, bad investment, lack of planning and foresight. Members of the collectives may have felt like, well, I did everything I could times 20 and still got very little to no result in some of the areas that I've been working at for a very long time. And Spirit is saying here, by this card dropping in the reading today, that yes, you have definitely had some opportunities that you were not able to step into, potentially due to parameters outside of your control. That is possible. But that's getting ready to change. We could look at this card in the upright for the collectives, because all of those pentacles that we saw, from the Eight of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles all the way to the Ace of Pentacles, and even look at the order that it came out, guys. This is building momentum. This energy is building, and this will result in abundance, manifestation, opportunity for the collectives, prosperity for the collectives, not just the few that want to maintain control of it. So I think that's a great card to close out on, that Ace of Pentacles energy. Guys, as you know, I am always sending you supportive energies, love and light to those who resonated with today's message. And this message is a general message for the collectives, but I think that terminology really suits with today's download, because isn't it true that we are all being affected by the timeline shift that we are in presently? You're being encouraged to dig deep at this time into your subtle power, your inner courage and wisdom, and let that move you forward when you start to feel stuck or like you don't know where to put your foot on the path. Please know that that will be illuminated as things go. You have the support of your spirit team, your guides. There are others that are involved in universally supporting what is happening on Earth at this time. And most importantly, that you're not alone. You're here with a group of collectives who are all moving through this timeline shift with you. Be sure to reach out to supports that feel connective for you if you have those. And if you don't, definitely tapping in and tuning in on YouTube, different readers and others who are part of the collectives can be helpful and supportive, as long as you're making sure to be intuitively aware, making sure you're not just taking energy and not really making sure that it resonates for you. Make sure that the messages resonate. But if they do, that can also be a support as well. But do that inner work, guys. Taking time out to ground out, meditate, tap in with your spirit team and guides if that's something that you do. Or if it's other ways that you feel connected, dance, sports, using your voice, singing, whatever it is that connects you with your higher self. Taking time out to do that can help you to really tap in to your inner strength and your subtle power. Once again, while we are watching these shifts happen, so that way you can give yourself an energy of support while things are getting balanced out here, guys. So that's the message I have for you this afternoon. I hope you guys have had an amazing week. Today is Friday, May 9th of 2025. 12:47 on the clock as I'm ending the reading. Definitely check the numbers out in the gematria and angel number meanings in association with the reading today. Feel free to comment below. Definitely you can email me for a personal reading if that is something that you desire. My email is in the description box. And I definitely look forward to being with you guys in the next reading. Once again, guys, my name is Ora-gen, and this is the Ora-gen Channel. Love and light.